Today about something that for probably all of us, I would say, is just obvious. And since it's so obvious, it's not spoken about so much. And we all, I don't think, need a schmooze about it either. But sometimes when we discuss it together and we learn it together, it's mechazik us. And it allows it to be more on the forefront of our mind. And we all know, we've mentioned this a few times, that our goal in life is what do we want to be? What do we want to be like? You want to be like Hashem. We want to be like Hashem. That's it. Nothing less than that. We have a high bar, high ceiling, big goals. We want to be like Hashem. And the Gemara tells us, the Halacha tells us, just like Hashem is merciful, He's a Rachaman, so we also want to have Rahman to some people. Hashem is a Baal chesed, always giving us non-stop, giving and giving and giving. We also want to be that way. We also want to just give and give and give and give. Hashem has so many amazing qualities that we all are beneficiaries of. We learn about, we feel it, we experience it all the time. We have to sometimes let it seep in, right? We don't put enough time sometimes in thinking about how amazing of a life we have. I mean, just look where we're sitting here, like it's like a joke really. It's crazy. We're such chesed all the time. And we also want to be like that. We also want to be giving, and we also want to be caring about people and thinking about how to care and give in bigger and better ways, just like Hashem. And the Sefer HaChinuch talks about this mitzvah. There's a mitzvah, bidrachav. We should go in the ways of Hashem. And he says there's one midah that's like anti-Hashem. Okay, there are a lot of things we're not supposed to do, but there's like one that is dominant, and it's literally the antithesis of Hashem, the exact opposite. It's not just like, okay, we weren't so good at this, we weren't so good at that. It's the exact opposite. I don't know what that is.
Jealousy.
What? Gaiva, energy, anger. Okay. Believe it or not, all those are things that aren't good, and we should try not to do it. What? Lying. Bingo.
Whoa.
Excellent. The Sefer HaChinuch says that if you notice in the entire Torah, there's one place, right? It says you're not allowed to have jealousy. You're not supposed to be angry, etc. And those are very, very bad midot. But the one place in the Torah says tirchak, stay far away from, is sheker, falsehood. Midvar, sheker, tirchak. Just stay so far away from that which isn't true. And the Sefer HaChinuch explains the reason is because Hashem's essence, and we don't say what that means, but Hashem's signature, his whole essence is Emes, is truth. Hashem is truth. And that's why we find an amazing thing, an amazing hint in the beginning of the Torah, in the first few letters of the Torah, Bereishit, bara, Elokim. So the last letter of Bereishit, the Taf, the last letter of bara is an Aleph, the last letter of Elokim is Mem. Those three letters spell Emet, scrambled. We'll speak about that in a moment. But it spells Emet. And if you go through all of the psukim of the creation of the world, the Baal HaTurim points out, there are multiple places at the end of the three words in a row are all Emes, Emes, Emes. It's always talking about truth, 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 truth. Because the entire creation of the world is all about truth. In fact, the Rabbi Yechiel Meir Astrovtser, the Astrovtserov, he says an amazing thing. Now, if I had a board here, it'd be easier for me to show you. But the Torah starts with the letter Bet. We would have thought the Torah should have started with the letter Aleph, right? That's what we would have thought. And Hashem could have worked it out that way. So why does the Torah start with the letter Bet? So he says something very interesting. There's something called gematria. We know every single letter in the Torah has a numerical equivalent. An Aleph is a 1, a Bet is a 2, a Gimel is a 3, a Dalet is a 4, etc. Okay. There's something called mispar katan. And what that means is that any number that you have to lower that number to a single digit. So for example, 18. 18 is 2 digits. That doesn't work. So the mispar katan of 18 is 1 plus 8 equals 9. Okay? You always try to reduce all the numbers by adding them together to get to a single digit. What is the mispar katan of the word emet? Aleph is 1. Mem is 40, that's 41, and Taf is 400. 441. So that's a 3-digit number. It doesn't work. So let's reduce it to 1 digit. 441. 4 plus 1 equals 9. So the mispar katan of the word emet is 9. How about the word sheker, falsehood? Shin is 300. Kuf is 100. Reish is 200. 300 and 100 is 400 plus 200 is 600. 600. 600, 3-digit number. That doesn't work. 6 plus 0 equals 6. Okay? So the mispar katan of emet is 9. The mispar katan of sheker is 6. It's fascinating. I don't know what to do with this, but just keep it in your head. Okay? A 9 looks like a person standing up. You have the head and the leg. And a 6 is upside down. Okay? A person standing upright is the 9, is the mispar katan. It's supposed to have the midah of Emes, of being a truthful person. When you're upside down and you're not doing it right, and you're backwards, you're a 6. You're a sheker, and it's not the way it's supposed to be. So the Asaf Sarav says as follows, an amazing thing. If we would have started the Torah with an aleph, if that would be like the beginning of the aleph bays, right? So then we'd start adding up every 3 numbers, because there are 22 letters in the aleph bays, so you only can divide it by 3. So we'd go by 3s. Aleph, bet, gimel, that's one section. Dalet, hey, vav is another section. Zayin, vav, chet is another section. Again, just go in order by 3s, and you add them up. So aleph plus bet plus gimel, 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. Ooh, that's the number sheker. We don't want that. Let's go dalet. Dalet, hey, and vav. Dalet is 4, hey is 5, and a vav is 6. So 4, 5, and 6. 9 and 6 is 15. 15 is a dalet. 1 plus 5 equals? Ooh, that's not good. If you start zayin, chet, tet. Zayin is 7, chet is 8. That's 15. Plus tet is 9. That's 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6. And you go the whole way through the aleph bet, it always adds up to 6. So Hashem decided to start the Torah with the letter bet. Because if you start from a bet plus gimel plus dalet, 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9. Bet, gimel, dalet. Okay, hey, vav, and zayin. Hey is 5, vav is 6, zayin is 7. 5 plus 6 plus 7 equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. And you follow through the entire aleph base, starting from a base. Every single section equals 9, because it's hinted to the idea of Emes. And in fact, Rabbeinu Bechaye says that if you look at the first pasuk of the Torah, every single vowel sound is found in the word Bereishit, bara, Elokim, et Hashem, et haaretz, except for one. There's one vowel sound that doesn't exist. You have the E sound, you have the A sound, you have the A sound, you have the O sound, you have the S sound, you have the A sound. There's one sound that doesn't exist, the U sound. There's no U in the first pasuk of the Torah. You know what the Hebrew word for the U sound is in Hebrew? Let's go. Where's that education? Come, let's go. It's called the shuruk. It's called the shuruk. The U sound is called a shuruk. Shuruk are the letters that also spell sheker. Because there couldn't even be a hint, Rabbeinu Bechaye says, even like a hint to the idea of sheker in the beginning of the Torah. And then Rabbeinu Bechaye says something even more extraordinary. He says, who are the people that we all like to be with? Like we're striving to be like the people in the Torah. Who is that? Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, right? Our Avos, our Imahos. That's who we're all trying to be like, right? Guess what? All the vowel sounds exist in Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, except for... You guys see geniuses. There's no shuruk in Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. Why? Because in the foundation of humanity, the foundation of the Jewish people, there can't even be a hint, even some remote hint to the idea of sheker, of falsehood. Truth is something that the Torah was created with, the world is created with, and the Jewish people are created with. It's all about being truthful. And this is something that is applicable in all of our lives. There's a famous Hasidus called the Kotsk, the Kotsk Hasidus, the Kotsk Rebbe. I highly recommend over the course of the year, Baruch Hashem, we have some amazing Hasidic shiurim. Maybe we give some shiurim on Kotsk. Anyway, the Kotsk Rebbe in Kotsk, they got very excited about truth. Emes was like their thing. Every sect of Hasidus has like their thing. So by Kotsk, it was Emes, that they claimed, that was what their flagship midah was always being emestic. In fact, the pasuk says in Tehillim, in Perek Pei Hey, pasuk at Bet 85:12, the pasuk says, "Emes, truth, may eretz titzmach, will come from the eretz, will come from the ground." And in Kotsk, they used to say that the gematria of the word Eretz is 291, which is the same gematria as Kotsk, because Emes, truth, will come from Kotsk. That's what they said. So they used to have a story that they used to speak about. That there was once a young Kotsker chesed who was spending Shabbos at home of a wealthy merchant, and he was the guest. So this guy's has this lavish suda, right? Brings out all decked out, multi-courses, all these meats, everything there for this guest. And the Kotsker chesed is sitting there at the table, and the host takes a massive amount of fish to put it on his plate, plenty for everyone. And he's about to go ahead and he eats, and he picks up his spoon, about to eat from the fish. Nope, he didn't drop it. So I need my spoon for this. Okay, he's about to hold the spoon, he's about to go ahead, and he says, Hineni, I hereby oichel l'chvod Shabbos kodesh. I'm about to eat for the honor of Shabbos. And he goes and he eats his food. What a holy person to go ahead and eat all his food for Shabbos. So the chesed that was sitting at the table, now it's his turn to go ahead and eat. And he picked up his spoon and he said, in the exact same, he closed his eyes, he said, Hineni ochel, I hereby eat l'chvod, to the honor of hanas biti, of the enjoyment of my stomach. And he went ahead and he ate bitni. He went ahead and he ate the food. So the host turned to him. He's like, Mazeh, Shabbos kodesh, it's Shabbos. That's not why you go ahead and you eat your fish. So the young man smiled and screamed out, Emes, I have to speak the truth. I'm not eating this for Shabbos. I'm eating this for my stomach because I'm hungry. That's what it was about. It was about truth. They also used to tell about a man a young person who got married, and his father-in-law wanted a son-in-law who would always be learning Torah. So he used to learn in the attic of his father-in-law's house. And he'd always hear noise coming up the stairs going into the attic. So the second he would hear the noise, he would start learning out loud, so that the father-in-law could hear him learning. This is what he wanted. And then one day, this went on for a long time, and one day they found out that there was a cat stuck in the chute of the attic and was going up and down all the time. The whole time it was the cat. So in Kotsk, they would all make a joke that this guy was sitting and learning for months and months for the sake of a cat. I mean, it was all about what's really driving us? What's really motivating us? What is there in front of us that is making us make our decisions and going ahead and doing things that we should be doing? There was a study I once read about many, many years ago about real estate agents in Los Angeles. This has nothing to do with Los Angeles. It could have been done anywhere. That's happened to have been done in Los Angeles. So real estate agents in Los Angeles that sell other people's houses. And they studied how much money, when they would sell other people's houses, that the houses would go for, versus when they would sell their own house, how much the house would go for. And they found that their houses, their own personal houses, were sold for a much more significant higher price, significant percentage higher than the price that they would get other people to sell for. And the study claims, I think it's the correct shot, is that there's a bias when you're selling your own house. Right? If I sell my house for $20,000 more, I pocket $20,000. So I'm going to hold out for the guy to buy it for $20,000 more. When my client is selling it, $20,000 more gets me, the agent, not much more money. Right? I get 2% in America, 4%, whatever it is. It's a few $100s. So it's not worth it for me to convince my client, I think you should hold the house on the market a little longer. I think you might be able to get more money. Yeah, unless no one else buys it, then I lose the whole thing. So for the agent, because of his bias, it's not worth it for him to tell the client to hold out on the house. Meaning, we are wired in a way that we all have biases. We all, on some level, are always thinking about our best interests, and some way that's a good thing, because that helps us be successful and helps us push ourselves forward. But that's what the Divrei Cheskel, the Shin of Arav, he points out, that if you look at the first three words of the Torah, Bereishit, bara Elokim, so I pointed out the last three letters are the letters of Emes, but it's not in order. The last letter of the first word is a Taf, then bara is an Aleph, and Elokim is in Mem, so it's out of order. But if you start from the second word, bara, Elokim, et, that spells Emes straight. Because originally we're wired in a way that we're not always so truthful with ourselves, right? But our goal is to try to shift ourselves away from any bias that we might have that will allow us to make the truthful decisions in our lives to make things go forward. So for example, sometimes a person might engage in certain behavior or make certain decisions because they think that that's what everyone's going to like. Right? All my friends are going to think I'm cool. My friends are going to think I'm the guy if I go ahead and I do this or I do that. So that's a complete bias. Now, it's not my own bias, but it's something that is totally polluting my ability to make proper decisions. That's not being emistic. That's not focusing on what's truthful. That's focusing on what I think other people are going to think of me or other people are going to want from me or expect of me, and that goes ahead and moves me to go ahead and make my decisions. Other times it's called present bias, that someone goes for the immediate satisfaction. Right? This is going to give me hana. It's going to make me excited right now. Is this good for me in the long term? No. Is this good for my relationships in the long term? No. Is this good for my health in the long term? Not necessarily. But right now it feels good. So we go ahead and we have a bias to get satisfaction right now, and we'll go ahead and we'll do that, even though, despite it could hurt us in the long run. Sometimes it's authority bias. Okay, here I'm being very honest. Someone might do this because the rabbi told him to do it, and you're scared of the rabbi, right? But is that really the right thing for you or the good thing for you? Hopefully it is, and hopefully the rabbi is guiding you in the right way, right? But I'm scared of something. When I'm scared of something, I'm also going to go ahead and make certain decisions, even though there might not be Emes, right? The goal of ourselves, and this is a lifelong goal, is to always make sure that every decision that we're making, every move that we're making, every activity that we're involved with is always, we're trying to be emestic. Stay far away from the sheker. It's not just people think truth and falsehood is about, did I tell you the truth? Yeah, I tell you that something happened. I'm such a liar. It's much more than that. That's just an external expression of that with other people. But being truthful is something that we could do by ourselves in a closet with literally no one else knowing. Right? Why am I learning? Why am I involved in the chesed? Am I involved in the chesed because I want everyone to think I'm a cool guy? Or am I involved in the chesed because I really care about other people? Now, sometimes we have not the best intentions, but that's a good enough of reason to do it. But that's not our goal, right? Our goal is to be like Hashem. Our goal is to be that every single one of our actions are always driven by truth. And this is something that requires thought. It's important for us to take time in our day, in our week, to just do a cheshbon and nefesh, as they say. Just look at the things that we're doing. Why are we doing it? What's motivating? How can we make ourselves even more truthful to ourselves and to others? And the more that we're able to do that and literally get rid of all the biases, so we're able to tirchak, we're literally able to push out that sheker, we're able to push out the falsehood from our lives, we automatically start to become a magnet towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because Hashem is Emes. And the more that we want to connect to Him and walk in His ways, the more that we want to be truthful. Again, it's not just about telling the truth to other people about certain situations that happen. It's being truthful with ourselves. Why am I struggling with this? Why am I doing this? What could push me more? How can I grow? How can I develop? How can I build certain relationships and habits that I want to build? How do I do that? I want it to be always driven by Emes. We're not going to be eating for our stomachs, but if we are, we have to be emistic about it and then say, okay, so how do I eat in a healthy, ruchniistic way, right? Every single thing about us, we want to turn towards truthfulness. And the more that we can think about this and be cognizant of this and sensitive to this, Bezrat Hashem, we will all be zocheh to be able to be like Hashem, like we're all striving to be.